to Nina Renee Knows. Today we are going to go over long division. Some people think that it's complicated, but it can actually be very easy if you follow the algorithm I'm going to give you, which are just steps that you need to follow. So let's get started. Long division, of course, you have large numbers. So the first thing you want to do is start with the first digit. Step A is start with the first digit and then cover the rest of the digits so you don't confuse yourself. Just make a note of these steps, and then we're going to follow them using an example. Now, B, the second step, is to get as close as possible, and when we do the example I will explain that. C, the third step, is to multiply and then write the answer. D, the fourth step, is to subtract. And then E, the fifth step, is to bring the next digit down. Now, once you get through these 5 steps, all you have to do is repeat. So you have A, B, C, D, E, and then just repeat B, C, D, E, B, C, D, E, B, C, D, E, until you solve the problem. That's really easy. A, B, C, D, E, then B, C, D, E, B, C, D, E, B, C, D, E, until you have solved the problem. It's really simple. Let's get into it. We're going to do 5 divided by 8, 6, 2. Now, if you were to put this in your calculator, you would type in 862 first. The number on the inside, the dividend, always goes first when you're putting this into a calculator. A, start with the first digit and then cover the rest. So what that means is we have 5 and we have this huge number 862. We're going to start with the first digit and then cover the rest. So we do that. We don't need the 62 part. Now let's move on to step number 2. B, get as close as possible. So let's get as close as possible. What number times 5 will get you as close as possible to 8? Well, we have 5 times 1, that's 5. 5 times 2, that's 10. 10 is pretty close, but we can't go over the number, so we have to choose 5 times 1. So we choose 1. Let's move on to the next step. Step C, multiply and write the answer. So 5 times 1 is 5. We're going to write the answer and then move on to the next step. The next step is D, subtract. So we're going to subtract this and we get 3. Now let's move on to the next step. The next step says bring down the next digit. So we're going to move this over and then bring down the next digit. Now we go back to step B, which is get as close as possible. So now we need to know what number times 5 will get us as close as possible to 36. Well, we have 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 6 is 30. Almost there. 5 times, where were we? 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 7 is 35, even closer. 5 times 8 is 40. Now we don't want to go over this number, so we have to go back to 5 times 7, which is 35, because that gets us as close as possible to 36 without going over. So we're choosing 7, so 5 times 7 is the number we're choosing. And now we move on to the next step, which is multiply and then write the answer. So 5 times 7 is 35. Move on to the next step, which is subtract. And now we have 1. Now we're going to move on to the next step, and it says bring the next digit down. And now we have 12. So go back up to step B, get as close as possible. So what number times 5 will get us as close as possible to 12? 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15. 15 goes over, so we can't choose that, so we have to do 5 times 2. So we write 2, we're going to choose the number 2. Next step is to multiply and write the answer. 5 times 2 is 10. Next step is to subtract. 12 minus 10 is 2. Next step is to bring down the next digit. Now we see that there are no digits left, so the answer is 172 remainder 2. Easy, right? 33 divided by 470. Alright, so we start with the first digit and cover the rest. Step B is to get as close as possible. Normally we would do what number times 33 will get us as close as possible to 4. Now, as you know, no number that you can multiply to 33 to get 4. So we have to move on to the next digit. What number times 33 will get us as close as possible to 47? 33 times 1 is 33. 33 times 2 is 66. We can't use 66, that goes over, so we have to use 33 times 1. So 1. Next step is to multiply and write the answer. So we're going to multiply 1 times 33, we get 33. Next step is to subtract. So now we're going to subtract 654, 321. Next step is to bring down the next digit. So we're going to bring down the 0. Now we're at 140. Go back to step B, get as close as possible. So what number times 33 will get us as close as possible to 140? 33 times 2 equals 66. 33 times 3 equals 99. 33 times 4 is 132. 33 times 5 is 165. So we don't want to go over, so we're going to use 33 times 4. We're going to use 4. Move on to the next step. Multiply and write the answer. We just said 33 times 4 is 132. Next step is to subtract. So now I'm going to subtract. So we have no digits left to bring down, so our answer is 14 remainder 8. It's so simple, right? Now here's a little bonus material. What if you actually wanted to find the exact decimal instead of having 14 remainder 8? What if you wanted to know the result that would come if you actually put this into your calculator? 470 divided by 33. If you put that into your calculator, you won't get 14 remainder 8. You're going to get 14 point something something something. How would you calculate that point something something something? Let me show you that. So to calculate the point something something something, add a decimal after the answer you already found, and you would add a 0. And you would bring that 0 down. Then you would start with step B. What number times 33 will get you as close as possible to 80? Well, we just said 33 times 1 is 33, 33 times 2 is 66, 33 times 3 is 99. We can't go over, so we have to use 33 times 2. Next step is to multiply and write the answer. So 33 times 2 is 66. Next step is to subtract. So we're going to subtract. Now we're left with 14. We add a 0 and bring it down. Next step is to get as close as possible. So what number times 33 will get you as close as possible to 140? Well, 33 times 1 is 33, 33 times 2 is 66, 33 times 3 is 99, 33 times 4 is 132, 33 times 5 is 165, so we need to choose 4, because 33 times 4 is 132, that gets us as close as possible to 140 without going over. So 4. Next step is to multiply and write the answer. Well, we just said 33 times 4 is 132. Next step is to subtract. 8. Add a 0. We have no digits left to bring down. So bring down that 0. What number times 33 will get us as close as possible to 80? Well, we kind of just did that back here. We know that the number's 2. 33 times 1, 33. 33 times 2, 66. We have to choose 2. Next step is to multiply and write the answer. So 33 times 2 is 66. Next step is to subtract. That's starting to look familiar, right? We just did that. We're going to keep getting 242, 242 for this particular problem. Your calculator will just say 14.242, 242, 242, but the way you write that answer would be 14.24 with the bar across. The calculator answer will give you 14.24242424. So this bar is shorthand for notating that it is a repeating decimal. As always, if you have any questions, leave them down below. I will reply. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up so that others can see it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.